The number of companies that want to go green is increasing every year. A 2011 survey found that 69% of U.S. organizations already have green programs in place, and that number is continuously growing. Unfortunately, many companies face challenges when trying to implement green practices. The biggest reported challenge is concerns about cost. We designed Sustainly to help companies take cost into consideration when shopping for energy-efficient products, such as in the following scenario.
Meet Joe. Joe owns a laundromat and wants to buy some new washing machines for his business. Joe plans to use Amazon to buy the machines, and he wants to make sure that the ones he chooses are well reviewed by other users. To accomplish this, the first thing that Joe does is navigate to Amazon and search for washing machines. The first result looks good, so Joe clicks on that. Joe is eager to hear what other people think about the awesome washer, but there are no user reviews yet on Amazon. Joe clicks on the Review tab on the Sustainly toolbar to see reviews from other websites. Joe has successfully found reviews for the awesome washer. Joe thinks that going green will attract eco-conscious consumers to his business and decrease costs. He decides to buy a green washing machine for his business. Joe navigates back to Amazon and searches for washing machines again. Joe notices that the first result is Energy Star certified and suggested by Sustainly. He opens the product page. Joe opens the Energy Details tab of the Sustainly toolbar. Sustainly gives Joe useful information such as the projected annual energy use and annual savings of the awesome washer. Now Joe has found a few green products with good reviews, and he wants to find out which is the most cost-effective. Joe can't figure out how to calculate cost-effectiveness on his own, so he turns to Sustainly for help. Joe goes through his potential products and adds them to the Sustainly analyzer. After adding all of the washers, Joe opens the Analyzer tab and is immediately able to see a graph comparing cost over time for each of the products. Joe can also compare the washers based on other metrics, such as average energy use. After using Sustainly, Joe feels better informed and ready to make a decision.
Our original concept for Sustainly was a standalone website, but we realized that our interface was more suited to be an Amazon plugin. Of 3 different plugin designs, we decided to implement Sustainly as a toolbar that would display across the bottom of the screen. We created a low-fidelity prototype in Balsamiq and tested it by sitting with users and watching them try to use it to complete our 3 tasks. The main thing that we learned from our low-fidelity prototype testing was that our interface was not intuitive enough, especially the analyzer page. Users didn't understand that they were supposed to add products to it before they could see the graphs. We used the feedback from our first user test to make some minor modifications before we built our interactive prototype. We were able to implement functionality for all 3 of our tasks in the interactive prototype. For the analyzer, we made a graph that processed Energy Star data to map cost versus time for different washers. We had a settings tab where users could adjust variables such as number of loads per year and how much they paid for energy. These variables affect the graphs. From these graphs, users are able to find products that will save them money in the long term through energy efficiency. For our interactive prototype testing, we sat down with new target users and asked them to talk out loud about what went through their heads as they tried to complete our tasks. We learned 3 main lessons from this round of user testing. The first was that we needed to give users more feedback about when the plugin was active. Users were confused because the homepage of Amazon looked the exact same whether or not Sustainly was active. The second lesson was that we needed to make resizing the toolbar easier. The window was cramped and users didn't know how to resize it. The third lesson was that some features of the plugin are still not intuitive. For example, this results page shows that the A+ child supply washer has no reviews, but it doesn't indicate that Sustainly might be able to find reviews for the product. Hopefully these problems could be solved in future design cycles.